So the scientific method is really important in psychology. Psychology presents itself as a scientific discipline, and having good scientific evidence on which people can make decisions about practice in the real world is really important. However, the scientific method is a way of approaching knowledge creation as an objective science. So the idea is that the researcher is distant from the research, that anybody could be doing this research, the researcher themselves kind of is unimportant, and that the research is about controlling the research environment so that you can measure the impact of one variable on another. So, for example, you control everything so that you can measure the impact of social media on body image, for example. And that's great. And the scientific method definitely has a place in psychology, but there are some problems with that. So one of the kind of big critiques of the scientific method, which has come from feminists and others, is that that notion of being objective in your research isn't really achievable. So because we're humans, and it's humans who are doing this research, we bring with us as researchers our biases, which we may or may not be aware of, but also just our lived experience and our way of looking at the world, and all of that informs the kinds of questions that we ask. So, for example, I gave that example of, what is the impact of social media on body image? That's one question that we could ask, but we might also be interested in other questions like, how do people use social media to understand their body image, which is a more kind of qualitative research question. And what questions we ask, how we ask them, what we choose to measure, and how we measure it are all things that are influenced by our understanding of psychology, but the assumptions that we bring into the research.